Good morning. It's 9 a.m., 19 degrees. I'm Melissa Holmes, and we are starting off this half hour of Daybreak with a look at the emergency repairs happening for yet another water main break. This one happened last night, just before midnight, at the intersection of Mang and Elmwood Avenue in Kenmore. You can see that they are drilling into the middle of that intersection. A stretch of Elmwood still closed this morning. This has been a familiar sight all throughout western New York this winter during the stretch of very cold weather. With some of the coldest temps of the season on the way tomorrow, we might see even more water main breaks popping up across western New York. The biggest one, though, that we've seen in a long time, still being repaired right now in North Buffalo, Black Rock, Riverside, and that's in the area of Hurdle and Military. And Daybreak's Natalie Foss has the latest from there.
Here on the corner of Hurdle and Military this morning, where the city tells us the water main has been repaired, but as you can see behind me, they're still going to take some time to get the road repaired, get this intersection back up and running. As you can tell, there is plenty of traffic this morning as people are headed on their commute. It's much better than it was yesterday in terms of traffic control, because this is now a three-way intersection. The road between Hurdle and Hinman is still being repaired, though, so they've got that shut down. This break caused major damage not only to the road, but to nearby buildings and cars as well. Now, you may remember yesterday we told you about 26 people had to be evacuated from nearby homes. That included the Jasper Parish apartments. We spoke with neighbors there yesterday about how they're trying to rebuild.
They are desperately in need of the city's attention in order to maintain these pipes that have been there for more than 100 years.
We called their insurance. They say they can do nothing about it because it was a problem from the city. So we're trying to contact the city and see what we can do about it for the hair damage and everything, and go from there.
The city created a claims process, and officials recommend anybody with damaged property to contact their insurance or to contact the city law department. The city says that they're not convinced that this will be the last water main break. In fact, there's already been more since this particular water main break as the weather continues to stay very, very cold. They said that their resources are stretched extremely thin as they're trying to repair all these roads as well as the water mains, and they've actually brought in outside contractors as well to hopefully stay on top of it. On your side in North Buffalo, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
Well, this morning we are hearing from a Buffalo family that lost nearly everything in a house fire last weekend. Elise Garcia, her partner, and their 4 young children had just moved into their brand new home on Ross Avenue. Garcia says they were in the process of moving from their apartment into that home when it went up in flames. Garcia's family is staying with their mother for now, but they don't know where they'll go after.
Trying to be there for our kids, trying to gather some clothing for them since we lost everything. And we still gotta go to work, so we still gotta show up to work. We've been working, and then when we get home, we've been trying to find some help and resources to help us get back up.
She tells us the kids are most upset about losing their toys and their belongings and even their new beds in that fire. A friend of Garcia and her family has set up a GoFundMe to raise money to help them recover from that devastating loss. Governor Kathy Hochul says that she will sign into law the Medical Aid in Dying Act. It would allow terminally ill patients with 6 months or less to live the ability to have a medically aided death via a prescription drug. Oral requests for the prescription must be recorded by audio or video, and there is a 5-day waiting period between the request and the prescription being filled. Catholic Charities of Buffalo has named Tony DeSimone as its new president and CEO, effective March 2nd. He replaces Deacon Steve Schumer, who retired at the end of last year. DeSimone brings nearly 30 years of leadership experience from Fisher-Price and New Era Cap and will oversee programs serving nearly 1 in 10 people across western New York. He says his passion for nonprofit work is driven in part by his family's personal experience. And Visit Buffalo is launching a new winter campaign called Made for Snow Buffs, inviting travelers to embrace Buffalo's snowy season. The effort targets visitors who seek winter experiences like skating at Canal Side, sledding at Chestnut Ridge, and the city's cold weather charm. There's a lot of it right now. The campaign includes digital ads, social media, and national travel coverage, all aimed at boosting tourism during the colder months. Visit Buffalo says winter is one of the region's greatest assets. And it was a special night at KeyBank Center, an Olympic send-off for Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin. Unfortunately, though, the Sabres' performance was less than special. They dropped a tough one in Pittsburgh, 5-2. To Pittsburgh, rather, here at home, 5-2. Alex Lyon took just his second loss in 6 games since returning from injury, giving up 4 goals on 31 shots, with the 5th coming on an empty netter. The Sabres now pause for the Olympics. They'll be back on the ice in late February. All right, Patrick. You're up again with your 94th weather hit of the morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
All to talk about this snow and cold, and really, really cold coming on the way.
Yeah, so the other thing we're getting, of course, is the snow. And we ask different ways of looking at snow. How much snow have we gotten? You know, the other way to look at it, when's the last day it didn't snow?
That's a really great question.
January 13th.
Really? We're going on almost a month
is
of
the last
snow.
day it didn't snow. And every day since then,
January also feels like it was 932 days long.
It was. And January or February is masquerading as January, no doubt. All right, we have one more plunge of cold Arctic air. It arrives late tonight and into tomorrow. This is bone-chilling stuff tomorrow and Sunday. As mentioned, dangerous wind chills. We don't use that word that often, but that's the case for tomorrow when you have wind chills 20 to 30 below zero, okay? Especially in the morning. It does moderate a little bit. Some mild air from the west tries to budge in for next week. We will warm up a little bit. It's not going to be balmy, but we will have a warmer weather pattern by the middle of next week. Today, 28 sounds balmy to me, right? With light snow. Wind chills tomorrow, very cold. A high of 7 with light snow and blowing snow. Sunday, 13. You can see on radar here the snow that continues to fly. It started a few hours ago, and we'll see it kind of off and on throughout the day today. We may get a little lull in the early afternoon. But if you're out and about between, let's say, 6:30 and 7:30, there will be a burst of heavy snow, a snow squall likely to move through. So a heads up for that, okay? You'll see that on Future Look here. There's the light snow kind of off and on throughout the day. And there's that burst of heavy snow, 6:30, 7:30, okay? Remember a couple days ago, we had those snow squalls? Yeah, might see them again today, or this evening, I should say. Then tomorrow, it's just a constant flow of polar air over an open Lake Ontario. It's going to keep some light snow blowing around, but it's the frigid cold that is on the way. So high temperatures today. Oh, by the way, an inch of snow today, another 2 to 3 tonight. Okay, so 3 to 6 in total through tomorrow. Mid-20s today, high temperatures in the single digits tomorrow. Numbers on Sunday don't get a whole lot better, upper single digits to low teens. But here's the deal. Here's the big story. The wind chills. Check this out. Tomorrow morning, 8:30, okay? Getting up, getting ready for your Saturday stuff. Mid-20s to around 30 below zero with your wind chills, okay? This is stuff you just stay inside. Take a day off, right? Just chill out, watch the Olympics tomorrow. On Sunday, it gets a little better, but still very, very cold. So snow showers around an inch today. For tonight, snow heavy in the evening, 1 to 3 inches. And then for tomorrow, bitter cold snow showers, 15 to 25 to near 30 below with the wind chill. Long range forecast for Niagara Falls and Buffalo. Warming up next week, light snow Monday and Wednesday. And a warm up for us means, hey, we hit freezing for the first time since it started snowing mid-January, okay? And then for the South Towns in the Southern Tier, a similar outlook. At least it's dry tomorrow in the Southern Tier, but certainly bitterly cold, Melissa.
Seriously, I have not seen temps in the 30s in ages.
Wow, it's been forever. Been forever.
All right, we'll take it. All right, Patrick, thank you. Stay with us. You're going to want to stick around because coming up right after the break, we've got award-winning actor and Western New York native Bill Fichtner joining us here in studio to talk about some projects, his love for the Bills and Sabres, and also his support for a really great local foundation. That's coming up. Stick around. Well, we are so happy to be joined in studio by Bill Fichtner, making a short visit here back home to Western New York. Thanks for being here this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
You actually were telling us on the break that you planned your trip here at this time, hoping that you would be seeing a Bills Super Bowl parade.
Well, I knew I needed to come back, so I planned a little upstate mini tour. Part of it was the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, which has their big black tie affair in the fall. but it's part of the two of the auction items were a cocktail hour, which was actually 2 hours of cocktails, and a lunch before that, and it was all for that, and people bid on it, and we raised a lot of money, and
yeah, and we will talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. We got some video from it, and yeah, it was a great auction item, and it was so generous for you to do that for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And we've got the executive director coming in just a few minutes to talk about more about the foundation. But you were also busy last night at the Sabres game. We got a little video of you doing the thing with Sabretooth there. Yes, unfortunate loss there last night, and a bad way to go into the.
We were better last night, but it didn't work out.
Right. Also a huge Bills fan, and I think a lot of people saw this because it was shared so much on social. Let's show this Bills type video here.
They represent our city, Buffalo, New York, baby, and we stand behind them every step of the way. This is a chance to right all the wrongs, to set the record straight, change the course of our history, and you all know what I'm talking about.
We don't have to play the whole thing because it's really depressing.
As you know,
do we know the ending? What happened?
No.
I will. I'm a big fan of your work, but some of your best work is when you called into WGR to talk Bills a couple of years ago. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
And you and Shope and the Bulldog were going back and forth about, I think it was a Monday night game.
What, long-time listener, first-time caller type of thing?
It was awesome. He calls in from California. They talk Bills for like 10 minutes.
I called him in this year after 2 days after we said goodbye to Sean.
Right. Okay.
What are your feelings?
I think this is pro sports, and things happen and changes happen, and I really like Sean, and maybe it's the right move. We're not going to know because he's not here now.
Right.
Think it could have been handled in a little more respectful way towards Sean, but it's pro football, and go Bills.
Go Bills, right? We won't be seeing the Bills, unfortunately, in the Super Bowl, but we will be seeing you in your Super Bowl ad. We found it. I scoured the internet and I found it. We got to play it. Let's hear it.
I have not seen this.
Really?
All right.
You haven't seen it yet?
No.
No bueno. No bueno. Yes. Kinder bueno.
No bueno.
Yes, bueno.
Get more in here.
Y bueno.
Bueno. Platilito. Zibunchi.
No bueno. Yes, bueno.
Irresistible chocolate, wafer, hazelnut. Yes, bueno.
Can we hear that raspy yes bueno again, please?
That's clearly the best work I've ever done. Right there.
How long did that take you to shoot the yes bueno and take a bite of the Kinder bar?
Well, they had a stack of. We did like 40 takes, and I'm like, that's a lot of candy bars. Right. You don't have to eat them. We had somebody would come out with a napkin because otherwise you're gonna eat like a third of a Kinder bar, and so I would eat like 15 of them, and I'm like, can we not do that? But we shot it in a day. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
But all the effects, I mean, that must have taken a long time. But that's like this is primetime Super Bowl stuff, right?
Have you done a Super Bowl ad before?
No, which is part of the reason when they called and they asked, I said, it's Super Bowl. I mean, sure. Sure, and it's Toronto.
Did you ever turn down something that you wish you wouldn't have turned down?
Oh, that's a good question.
You know what? I've been asked this before, and I can honestly tell you straight from the heart, no. No, I never turned anything down, and I've read stories of people that have turned down parts that became like iconic, and they look back and go, wow, I wish I would have done it. I never felt that way. And I've always been a little pickier and choosier than sometimes I should have been. But if I don't feel it, if I don't believe it's, something that, I have a fear of, I don't want to be bad. So if I don't believe in it, I can't do it.
We have some video of some of your roles. Even this is one of the last videos in this block here, guys, to queue up. But starting from 1987 with your soap opera that you did.
Josh, the misunderstood farmer.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Was that Days of Our Lives? Look at that.
Gosh.
Come on, that is Chick the Wagga hair right there.
That is Chick.
And then Contact, which
one of my favorite roles of his.
And Armageddon was such a biggie too. Black Hawk Down, and then Perfect Storm. I mean, you've done so many, more than 50 films. Do you have a favorite role, either in film or Mom, which is such a great sitcom that you were in? Is there a favorite?
The favorite always comes down to I have a good time on everything I work on. It's my being. I can't take drama. So it really comes down to the experience and the people that you meet. And, you know, Black Hawk Down was right up there. Yeah. It was all of us 5.5 months in Rabat, Morocco. And, you know, I met my best friend, Canadian actor Kim Coates.
That's right, he was in that.
I'll tell a quick story with Kim Coates. When I met Kim, I said, hey, Bill Fichtner. And he goes, Kim Coates. And he said to me, where are you from? And I said, Buffalo. And he went, go Sabres. And I'm like, right there. That's my buddy. Right there.
That is so great.
Yeah, 2001.
Oh my gosh, and you've been best friends since
Best
then.
friends since.
Yeah. So those are some of the movies that you've done, but you also shot Cut Man here in Western New York, and that was really cool. And that premiered at the Riviera Theater, where we got Mike Cristiano, who's one of the co-owners of Riviera. He's going to be joining us too. But that was so neat to see that. What is?
Oh, that's a good look.
I know. What's your experience been like filming here in Western New York? And tell us about, you know, the film industry here.
Well, the film industry is just revolutionized in upstate New York, and especially in Western New York. The tax incentives, thank you, Governor Hochul. The Film Commission here, Tim Clark, Rich Wall, these guys, they make it happen. They are the best, and I'm not just saying this. Producers that come from everywhere go, we've never been treated like this. And also, too, you know, people get used to shooting things in Toronto, and they cheat it for New York and that. But people don't really know Buffalo, and they don't know the amazing architecture here. So when people come here to scout, they're like, I never knew. Yeah. You didn't know. You know, a lot of people don't. They're finding out now. For me personally, when I was here working on Cut Man, I have a couple of other projects that someday I hope to do, and I want them, you know, to be here. I'm coming home. To come home and work here, there is nothing better.
Well, with Kim Coates, you did Coldbrook, and you filmed in a lot of different spots in Western New York.
Sure.
You were in East Aurora, I think, also in Buffalo. So you kind of utilized the entire area for that.
Well, the truth be told, I was not going to shoot it here. Oh. And when I met Tim Clark, our film commissioner, Tim said to me, you know, he read the script. He goes, you know, you could shoot this in Buffalo. And I'm like, well, you know, we'll see. And he took me around, and after like a weekend of looking at locations, I'm like, I should shoot it here. And we did. Three of the 4 weeks we shot here.
And you said you do hope to come back and shoot another film here.
I have another film that I'm trying to put together right now, coming of age story from the 1960s. And it took place in Angola, and you know, why shoot it anywhere else?
Wow. Right.
You know, I'm just trying to put it all together right now.
You're not really slowing down here. You've got this huge filmography, and now you're still doing movies, commercials, and planning movies.
Listen, my wife is renovating the kitchen. You got to pay for it. Slow down. I told her last year, I want to go fishing. She goes, you can fish all you want when the kitchen's done.
That sounds like I connect with her very well. Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to talk a lot more coming up after the break, including your support for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and how wonderful that organization is and changing lives here in Western New York. We'll be back right after this. All right, the gang's all here now. Joining us with Bill Fichtner is Heather McKeever, who's the Executive Director of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation here in Western New York, and Mike Cristiano, who's the owner of Left Bank, amazing restaurant here in Western New York, and also the co-owner of North Park Theater. I misspoke, and not the Riviera, but North Park, which is where Cut Man premiered. But we were so excited to go to Left Bank yesterday for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for an amazing charity luncheon that you were the guest of honor. It was so great for you to auction yourself off. And Scott Beeler was the winner of that winning bid of West Her. And this is a look at the lunch yesterday where all of the money raised went to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. And Mike, what's your connection to cystic fibrosis, and why donate this lunch and provide your beautiful space for the lunch for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and Bill yesterday?
Working backwards, we've had a golf tournament for cystic fibrosis for the last 22 years, and it was a personal connection from my very young youth, and I just, when it came time to start something, that's where I went.
And it's amazing. Your golf tournament has raised $250,000 for the Western New York chapter of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation over the years. And Bill, what's your connection? Why do you give yourself of the organization and dedicating yourself to support this organization? And you were so funny at the gala also that Patrick and I were emceeing, showing up there also virtually to let everyone know about this really great auction item.
Well, there's this woman to my left over here, my right over here, and her name is Heather. And Heather reached out to me, and we spoke, right? I mean, isn't that how it all began?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, it was one of our young professionals who was one of our Tomorrow's Leaders, Devin Brady, who worked on one of your sets.
Yeah.
And we were brainstorming a celebrity because Mike said, hey, we could use, the left bank and get us a celebrity. And so, the story goes.
They couldn't find one, so they got me. So they're like, see if there's anyone from Cheektowaga.
The story goes, my husband and I were binge watching Prison Break, and this guy walks out, FBI agent, and he said, that's your celebrity. And Devin said, I know him. And Bill is just so welcoming and so genuine, and said, sure, I'll do it. And so we did this about 3 years ago, and Scott won it. And then you came on and went to the next level, being online live, and it was such an amazing experience. We actually raised $350,000 in the fall, and I'm hoping we can do. We're going to do a lot to have to recreate that for next year, but we'll be doing it again in the fall.
And Heather, tell us how important that $350,000 that night. How important is that to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation? I mean, this research really is changing lives.
It really is. And the mean age when I started with the foundation 8 years ago was 39 years old. Today, it's 65 years old.
The life expectancy.
The life expectancy of somebody living with CF today. And it's really incredible. And we are so fortunate in Buffalo and Rochester to have our own care centers. We had a lot of our care center team there yesterday. And it was just really wonderful to see how so many people like yourselves don't have a personal connection. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm here today. Because actually, we announced it yesterday that Bill is our Community Spirit Award winner for 2024 or 2025. And we'll be honoring all of our award winners at our annual meeting that's coming up at the end of the month. And Mike is actually one of our themed partner award winners for all he's done with the golf. But we're here to let both of you know that you are being named our 2025 Heroes of Hope, which is actually a national honor with a list of those across the country. And we will have somebody at this awards banquet in February 23rd from the national office to help present that to both of you.
Amazing.
So,
Thank you.
What you've done with the, not just with us, but with the whole community at large, and all of you have given back to Buffalo, but we're specifically important to what you've done with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. So,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, we are so
I've never
happy.
won anything.
Yeah, we are really, really honored. Thank you. I mean, it's really amazing for us to be able to use, his notoriety here in Western New York and my microphone and the ability to interview people like Dr. Drew C. Borowitz and others who live with cystic fibrosis and raise awareness about what it is and how the importance of the foundation here is changing lives. So I'm so happy to be able to tell our viewers about that and to raise some awareness, but not for awards, that's for sure, but thank you so much for that.
Well, and it is a very rare disease. I always say there's about 45,000 people now, because we have so many adults living with CF, living with CF, but worldwide, 70,000 people. So you could fit them in Highmark Stadium, the amount of people living in the world with CF. So it takes people like all of you to raise that awareness and to keep that momentum going. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
That's great.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so Bill, next time we see you back here in Western New York, what are you going to be doing?
I don't know. I'll be back for a Bills game. That's a given.
Oh, for sure. The new stadium. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
Going to do that.
Was it pretty cool to see it, by the way? I mean, you've heard about the construction.
Well, I haven't seen it across the street being built, when I go to games.
Right,
you just watch it go up, and
it
now
looks like this big spaceship. It's amazing.
It does look amazing.
Yeah.
Somebody was talking to me about it last night. It's really state of the art, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So listen, I have to get back at least 3 or 4 times a year, and no matter what, it's great to be here in the summer. You know, it's great to be here in the fall.
What about 30 below zero? That's kind of cool, right?
I live for this, all right, buddy?
And Heather, actually, tell us about some of the upcoming events. We got about a minute left in the show.
Yes, so we have our big walks happening in May. That's our Great Strides Walk. We also have, so our Great Strides Walk. We also have our golf tournaments.
Yeah.
We have Rochester and we have our Left Bank and then our Buffalo Golf, which you are at every year, and we love it.
With that and play and not very well, but I love playing in it. It's a great tournament.
And then we end our year with our Rock the Red Carpet events in Buffalo and Rochester, and with our finest, we celebrate. We like to celebrate at least 20 individuals, young professionals in the community. So if you know of any, we are accepting those nominations now. But I am looking forward to what all of you will bring to our end of year celebration at that Rock the Red Carpet. So.
And if folks want to learn more about CF and the foundation, what websites should they go to?
I tell everyone to just search Cystic Fibrosis Foundation Western New York or Western New York Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. You'll find all of our Facebook, our Instagram, our chapter webpage. It's the best way to do it.
Wonderful. Heather McKeever from the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Mike Cristiano, Left Bank and North Park Theater, and Bill Fichtner. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on Daybreak. Have a great weekend, everybody.